Look at this guy, man. You guys know you're like a star now that the Rams won the Super Bowl.
Well, look at this side.
And of course, here he comes. Listen, is he smoking a cigar? He's really gonna. What? Oh my God! Yes, Rudy.
Rumble! Finally! The Ramilius Sports Report returns to the Rumble Show. Rumble!
Roll down the window.
Yes, Rudy.
Put down the top. Crank up the Beach Boys, baby. Don't let the music stop. We gon' ride it till we just can't ride it no more. From the side, baby, to the side, from the west side. Let's go. Big dog on three. 1, 2, 3. Big dog.
What is up, my Ramelia fans of the Los Angeles Rams and Niner fans that are coming in here for my guy Wayne Breezie is a special guest. I appreciate him coming in. It's Battle of the Backup Bowl 2 with the QB1s playing this time, and sprinkled in is some starters. And so we'll see what happens. The Rams are going for their second win over the Niners in the first Backup Bowl. If you remember, Puka Nacua got a record in the first game. Rams lost a tough one with the Cooper Kupp out, and the Niners came back to their credit, won that game, but Puka Nacua set a record in that first game, and then in the second game he set the all-time rookie record to finish off that particular game in the season. So the Rams, if we refresh you, the Rams have a new streak as they're 1-0 against the Niners, even though it's backup bowl. So what did we do? We get rid of Carson Wentz, who broke the streak for us, and Jimmy Garoppolo is now our backup. But I don't know. I think there's something between Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay there that he wants to maybe fix Jimmy Garoppolo. But I have a special guest today, my guy Wayne Breezie. We were able to reschedule, the busiest man on YouTube and content creation. A great dude, and props to my guy coming in. We're just going to get right to it. We only got let's see, we got 27 minutes, but we'll see what's going on. I hope everyone. I'm going to put this banner up right quick. Thank you for. Oh, hold on. Technical difficulties for sure. Hold on. Here we go. Not that one either. Hold on. Sorry. I'm trying to hurry up. Not that one either. Jesus, Breeze. Here we go. Welcome, I guess, Wayne Breezie. And again, in the comments, this is a guest of mine, a buddy of mine. And so, be respectful. And it's critical about teams. It's Rams versus Niners. So here we go. Let me get my guy in here, the great Wayne Breezie. What's up, brother?
Rudy, what's going on, baby? What's going on, man?
What's up, man? What's up? So
it's that time of the season. It's that time.
It's that time, and the darn Niners are 1-0. The Rams are 0-2, and we need this win. You guys have injuries too. It's like Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed in the hospital scene when they're wheelchairing, and they're like, "We can get up right now."
Yes.
But thank you for coming in, man. I appreciate you. In case you guys don't know that are Ram fans, this is Wayne Breezie. He's a Niners content creator, and he's an OG Niners fan rather. And he knows he knows his stuff. He's a good dude. But let's just get right into it, man. So let me ask you this. So it's hard that you guys on your side don't follow the Rams unless you're just, seeing things, highlights. We watch them all the time, of course, because I'm a Ram fan. Who do you see on the Rams team that to look out for, that you're seeing, well, you know what, we have to look out for this guy and that guy? Who do you think right off the bat that on defense might cause a problem or some kind of obstacle in the Niners getting a win?
That's a great question, bro. It's funny because this season I started a new series called Biggest Threats. And so each week I go through the team and I try to pick out 5 threats from each team. And so when I got to the threats from your team this week, obviously they're the obvious names, the Matthew Staffords, you can't, he's a vet. And he's a savvy vet in the NFL. He's a former Super Bowl champion vet, right? And so, you can't count him out regardless of what your team may look like. So I go check out that video on my channel,
I saw it. I watched it. I watched it last night. Yeah, everyone watch it. I was seeing you were talking about Demarcus Robinson, and I like that video that you were talking about.
He a former Chief, so he know how to win. Like, he just, he's on the team right now where he needs an opportunity. He's going to get it. And he's been one of Matthew Stafford's targets, right? He's been getting a lot of the targets. So he's definitely a threat for me. But my number one threat from your team offensively is Kyron Williams. Like, I don't care what his stats say. I don't care if he only has 75 rushing yards. None of that matters when you're playing an all-pro running back. And I understand that your offensive line is a little banged up, but I do expect him to be he needs to be a focal point for the San Francisco 49ers defense, because if they allow Kyron Williams to get loose, you guys haven't run the screen a lot. I think you only ran maybe 12 screen passes. Not a lot of Matthew Stafford's passing, but I do know against the Niners you run the screen all the time, and I wonder why, because the Niners struggle in stopping the screen. And Aaron Jones last week against the 49ers would have went berserk had Fred Warner not punched that ball out in the end zone. So that was a screen pass. So I'm worried about the screen. It's in my keys to victory for the Niners. They got to find a way to stop it. But Kyron Williams is a threat in the backfield as well as in the receiving game. He can line up. He's your Christian McCaffrey. He's younger. And he's your Christian McCaffrey. So if the Niners know all about that, he's a weapon. Defensively, you got two young players that I'm infatuated with. I do love them. Byron Young is my favorite Rams player. I love this kid. I met him though at the Senior Bowl, so when I got a chance to talk to him, I already knew he was going to be a problem in the NFL depending on which team he went to. Last year he finished the season with 9 sacks. This year he only has 1 sack, but he's still a problem as one of your outside linebackers. I think he plays on the strong side, and so you got to beware of him. And then on the other side is the rookie, man. It's Jared Verse. He's like number 4 in quarterback pressure rating. A rookie is number 4 in quarterback. This dude is disrupting the passer, and the Niners need to be aware of Jared Verse. That kid's gonna bring it, and he has a motor. So, it's crazy because it feels like everybody in your team is injured, but they're not. And it's a divisional game, so anything can happen. And the Niners just got to be prepared. I'm just keeping it a buck.
Yeah, and you know what, too, Breezy? Like I was telling you backstage, I was looking forward to this game because we revamped the offensive line. We got Big Dawson. We re-signed him. Steve Avila was supposed to be center. And then in the preseason, they said, no, we got Jonah Jackson from the Detroit Lions. So we put him at center. Now we were going to have Steve Avila at left guard, and then Larry Jackson's on the left side. So Havenstein, we were ready to see if we can get that ball running, and then Matthew Stafford has an easier time picking teams apart, because one of the things that we ran into last year, or found out that we can run the ball, when we played the Ravens in Baltimore, and we ran 9 straight times all the way to like the 15-yard line, 9 straight times, and we were pushing them around, and we were like, whoa, we got something here. And then we shorted up. We got the secondary, Darius Williams came back, Johnny Johnson came back. We drafted Kitchens. And so we were like, Kobe Turner, the land shark, would look like he was going to be healthy and do his thing this year. And then all these injuries. And now here you are, you guys injured too. Kittle may not play with the tight hamstring. We heard reports about Charvarius Ward maybe not playing because it's early in the season with a knee and maybe a hamstring. It's crazy, but this is not the game that I wanted. I wanted both teams healthy and just go. And I want to ask you this, Breezy. Both of us don't make excuses, but we explain what we think would happen, right? That's what I do. Let's say you got 3 messed up fingers and I had a bad night. Well, I would have had a better night if my hand wasn't messed up, but it is what it is. I still went out there. That's my thing. So I'm saying this. And I did this last night with my guy, Niner Sickness. We had a great conversation. We go back and forth. So here's the Detroit Lion game. We want revenge, right? We're hyped up, ready to go, right? We want that win. They beat us by 1 point. We want that win. So we're hyped up. Young team, right? we lost in overtime. With all the injury, Puka Nacua, got hurt, and so here's the Niners game three Niners, Detroit game 3 Niners. Guess what game is in the middle? The Arizona Cardinals. Could that have been an early trap game? I mean, the McVay was something like 10-1 or something like that, crazy against Arizona. Kyler Murray with the Call of Duty, memes they make about him, but he is a great athlete. So, not to make excuses, but could they have been looking towards San Francisco after coming off that emotional loss in overtime? And then Kyler Murray came out and he said, "Watch this guy. There's no Aaron Donalds. Watch this. Boom, 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 running around like a pinball machine. We couldn't tackle him." And then Harris Jr. Didn't get off in the first game. He struggled or didn't do anything really. And then the second game he got off. And then it just avalanched with Cooper Kupp getting hurt. So could that be a reason that we were looking towards San Francisco for this matchup? But we are beat up, and so I kind of think it's a one-off. I tip my cap to Kyler Murray. Even if we were played a good game, we would have had to been a shootout because there was no stopping him. It's early. He's healthy. He runs around. So could the Rams defense show like they did in there? Even though we couldn't stop the run, it's the first game, but they played much better and much more passionate in the first game than the second game. They were kind of like going through the motions at times. It didn't look like the same team they played Detroit. Could the Rams against the Niners show up like they did in Detroit? And we're still expecting Kobe Turner and Bobby Brown III, my prerogative, to push that middle, and then you corral Purdy in the sides. That's what I'm hoping for, that this Rams defense, a young defense, because the leader with Aaron Donald gone was Ernest Jones, and that's another thing in the preseason. All of a sudden, we don't know what happened. Here's a bag. We're gonna trade you for a swap 5th round pick and a bag of Doritos, and he's the leader on the defense. So it's gonna be some growing pains. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this Rams defense. Now, if the Rams come out and you see that fire, Fisk and Verse doing stunts, and they're getting in at Purdy, I'll feel much better. So I'm worried about that. But that's what I was going to say. What do you think about that? I'm getting long-winded, but I was kind of like, I didn't think about that. That's right, sandwiched in between San Francisco and Detroit, that like a trap game. What do you think about that?
Yeah, like that's like for you guys, for your team, that's a wild take from me. If it was any other team in between the game between San Francisco, I can understand it more being a trap, but there's no way you mean to tell me you weren't coming out prepared for the Arizona Cardinals. This is a divisional game. You win your division, you secure a playoff spot. Those games you don't want to lose. You can stand with losing to the Detroit Lions. They're not in the same division, so they're in that same conference, but that's not going to hurt you as much as losing, a divisional game. And, you're playing the Niners this week, so why would you look past a divisional opponent when you got to play another back-to-back divisional opponent? That's like freaking scheduling like the hell, right? Like that's not what you want, because you lost one, and now if you go down 0-2 in the division, it's kind of like now we got to play for a wild card spot when we get guys back and healthy. So I wouldn't say that you overlooked them, but you put up some good points about like what your defense can do. You talked about stunting, so let's talk about stunting, because the Niners struggle against stunts, and Minnesota took advantage. Andrew Van Ginkel was a stunting machine, and they were sending blitzes that the Niners, they weren't super exotic, but they were just like, dang, we can't stop these blitzes, and they disrupted the offensive line a little bit. Now your defense is built a little bit different, but you do run a 3-4 front. So that's that's one of the things that concerns me. 4-3 front, I know it's an extra lineman and one less linebacker, but for some reason the Niners are built for that. 3-4 fronts, I don't know. That's why I try to tell the faithful, listen, should the Niners win this game, it looks like it. It looks like they should find a way to be able to dominate. But there's a way that the Rams can still come out here and compete. It's a divisional game. You got blown out. You're not going to look to get blown out again. So that you bet you believe the Rams' energy is going to be on point. the Niners don't have a weapon like Marvin Harrison Jr., but they do have a Brandon Ayuk. So will he be the guy this week? So it's a little different, right? It's a little different. And honestly, the person that kills the Rams isn't playing. Like it's not George Kittle, it's not Travarius Ward, Deebo Samuel. So that's a one up for your team, right?
Yeah.
The most explosive player is not on the football field, so it could get crazy. It's a divisional game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. It can, if depending on what happens. I know Matthew Stafford's going to come out and throw the ball. That's what he does. He's going to throw the ball. He's second in passing under Brock Purdy, right? So they're going to come out and throw the ball, but the Matthew Stafford that gave the 49ers problems in week 2 of last year was the Matthew Stafford that was the efficient Matthew Stafford. It was the Matthew Stafford that was dinking and dunking, getting the ball out of his hand in less than 2 seconds. Will we get that Matthew Stafford? That's why I said he could be a threat. So it's not going to be easy peasy. First of all, no divisional game is easy peasy. What happened against Arizona was an anomaly. Like I don't know what that was. Like typically that doesn't happen, but this is going to be a good battle. The best team is going to win it. Like that's what it comes down to. Whichever team makes the least amount of mistakes.
And yeah, exactly right. And Arizona's 2-0, so both of us can't fall too far behind them.
Facts.
But yeah, I guess I should have said it this way. A trap game, you're looking forward to those big teams, those two juggernauts, the Niners and Detroit. But because we had so much success against Arizona,
right? I get what you're saying.
And then Kyler Murray just came out on fire. We were like diving here. It was like a highlight reel for Kyler Murray. We couldn't sack him. So, but yeah, all you do is you tip your cap and I say, well, let's see you do it again. But yeah. So what I'm hoping what the Rams do on offense is, McVay. I love McVay, and I know that you like Kyle Shanahan, but you do have some issues that some of the things that he does. I've seen you talk about it.
Play calling is horrendous, bro. Like the play calling and the timing of the plays.
Yeah.
Like what?
Well,
play
like
suggestion. It's weird.
For instance, we have Blake Corum. Okay,
wow.
he carried the. I'm a USC fan. But he carried Michigan. So he carried Michigan on his back, right? So he's a good player. He's got more beef downstairs, so he's stronger than Kyren Williams. In Detroit, we could have used a dude that can use a little more muscle to get in that red zone. That's our problem against Detroit. In the red zone, if we would have scored one time in the red zone, the 3 times we played in there in Detroit in the playoff game, we would have won that game. We lost by 1 point. And then this game too, in overtime, one time, we got a call and they pushed us back, our offensive line. Sean McVay scrapped the game plan. He basically was going off the cuff. But my thing is, it's not rocket science. You're not doing brain surgery. The guy's a football player. You speak to him and say, look, man, hold on to that ball, do your thing. Blocking schemes is different. If you're going to hand him the ball at the goal line, at least get him in there. Let him help your team win. So now there's a couple of games in there. I'm looking forward to the 2 monsters, Lightning and Thunder, Kyren Williams and Blake Corum getting in there. Hopefully they can run downhill, and we do screen passes against you guys like you were talking about, and then hopefully Tutu Atwell will make an appearance to get downfield. Now there's one guy that I'm not sure if you mentioned. I don't remember him. Is Tyler Johnson?
Oh, okay.
Tyler Johnson, he's the guy, and I know it was Battle of the Backups, but he's the guy that caught the ball in the back of the end zone in the last game of the Battle of the Backup ball with Carson Wentz. He made a nice catch right in bounds, and he's been playing good in preseason. And then, like you mentioned, Jordan Whittington was looking fantastic, and it's just preseason, but he looks like he has rapport with Stafford. He looks like Puka Nacua 2.0, the way he runs these patterns. In preseason, though, they got to do it in the game. And then Demarcus Robinson. So I'm just hoping that Stafford can do a Mahomes and basically get the offense going with no-name receivers, different quarterbacks.
He's going to have to because there's going to be no Puka. There's going to be no Cup. Tutu Atwell is probably the most familiar with the 49ers, and he's had some success against the 49ers, right? So he could be a big play. He's a speedy guy. That's a guy that they can line up in the backfield and run with. He can run your jet sweeps and all that type of stuff. So then, like I said, depending on what your game plan is, your game plan for the first 2 games hasn't been any of that. Now, this is a Sean McVay versus Kyle Shanahan. This is a totally different game plan. It's a totally different game. They love each other and want to beat the stuff out of each other every single time they play. The 49ers, I can't remember the last time we lost at this stadium was in the NFC Championship game. Kyle Shanahan's not going to want to lose here. Look, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. So you got some players, but you guys got to be weird of a lot of the 49er players, man. Just because there's no Christian McCaffrey or no Deebo Samuel, potentially no George Kittle, they're going to run the ball a lot. And so you guys are going to have to find a way to stop the 49ers run game. And the one area where you guys are, suspect in is stopping the run. You talked about against Detroit. Listen, you guys were pretty decent against Jahmyr Gibbs. You weren't giving up the explosive plays to Jahmyr Gibbs. It was when Dan Campbell changed the game plan on you and said, you know what? We're going to pound this rock. And that's what David Montgomery did. And if it wasn't for that switch, y'all would have won that game. It wouldn't even win the overtime. So it's crazy, right? So I think the Niners are going to come out and run the ball, and they're going to make you have to find a way to stop it. And if you can stop the run, then you guys probably will have somewhat of a chance. But it's going to be a Jordan Mason day. I could feel it. It's going to be a Jordan Mason day. He's going to run the ball. Again, you guys have given up, 160 to Detroit, over 200 yards to Arizona on the ground. Got to factor in Kyler Murray's 4 rushes for like 52 yards. But at the end of the day, it's still over 152 running backs. The Niners like to run the ball, and that's why you said it earlier in the show. When I get at Kyle Shanahan, is when he does stupid stuff against that. Like, if you know that the Rams are ranked 31st against the run, why throw the ball? Why? Like, why? Make them stop the run first. Let them prove it to you. So if Kyle isn't dumb, it should be a game where you guys are going to have to find a way to take away the 49ers strengths.
And that's exactly right, because you guys probably will try to run the ball, because that's, like you said, that's the no-brainer. They can't stop the run. In the 2 games, you have to show if they can. And that's where Ernest Jones could help, too, getting into some of the holes, But these young guys now, we have a undrafted free agent linebacker in Omar Spates that is athletic.
From Ohio State. Yeah.
And I'm like, put him in. See what he can do, because I appreciate Roseboom and
Roseboom's not it. Kyle's going to take advantage of him.
And but put him in. Let him get some plays under his belt.
The issue with Spates is his speed, right? And so that's his issue. Is he athletic? For sure. Can he be a factor in the outside zone? And so that's why it's not going to be just ground and pound. The Niners are going to run east and west, and this is where I think you guys struggle. Right, so they're gonna your defensive tackles, Bobby Brown and Mr. My Prerogative. That was kind of cool. Kobe Turner. They're gonna be tired as heck, and you don't have the depth there either. So stretching east and west, expect a lot of outside zone. I mean LSU. Thank you, not Ohio State. Expect a lot of outside zone. You're not going to be able to stop that if Spates' athleticism is there, but his speed is the issue. And if the Niners force him to be the guy that's getting to the outside zone, I think that's what's going to be a problem. So I think he trusts his other linebackers. But I do like Spates. And I thought Spates, honestly, during my draft shows, I thought he was getting drafted. I didn't know where. But like you said, he went undrafted. I do apologize. It was LSU, not Ohio State.
But, it's okay. So I'm just saying that because we don't have Ernest Jones was a rookie when we won the Super Bowl. Spates can give him a shot, so we'll see. Like, there's certain things, like not playing Blake Corum at all. There's just certain things that McVay does too that irritates me.
So that would be my sleeper. You talk about Blake Corum, right? And Blake Corum would be, if I did like sleeper guys who to watch out, I might put that out on game day. Like, guys not in my threats, it would be Blake Corum, because that would change the game plan of the 49ers defense if they're teeing off to stop Kyron Williams. If you looked at what happened last week to the San Francisco 49ers, they took away Aaron Jones, but here comes Ty Chandler, and he was just gashing the Niners defense. We're up the middle, right? And so, like, that can be something to watch out for. So if you're a Niners fan, pay attention to see if they use Blake Corum. The one thing I know about Sean McVay, He's not Kyle Shanahan. He will play his rookies. That I give him the one up on Kyle Shanahan. He will play his rookies. He don't care about experience. It's about what they can do on the football field and giving those guys an opportunity. And so this might be a game where you haven't seen much of Blake, but you might see a lot of Blake Corum in this game.
I hope so, man. I want to see the kid play. Let the kid play. What do we have to lose? We're 0-2. He's part of the talent, and
he's gonna be a problem. Like, let me just tell you, I'm a Michigan fan. He gonna be a problem.
When he came in, I was worried a little bit about
his size.
No, about he has the attitude of this. He in an interview he said, "I don't have a backup running back mentality," something like that, and I like that. So he could just push Kyrene. That's why I'm like, let them both go. Hey, listen, the hot hand, or because Kyrene can't stay healthy. I love Kyrene Williams. The production is there, but he
is it Kyrene or Kyren?
Kyren.
No, I'm asking because I just want to make sure I'm saying it.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
But he can't stay healthy or show us that he can stay healthy. So, but when he's on the field,
he's dynamic though. He's still he's all pro. Like once they go all pro, you got to respect the all pro, and now you got to figure out how to stop the all pro. Like I'm sorry, I'm not overlooking an all pro. I don't care if it's second team, first team, all pro is all pro.
Yeah,
I mean, think about it like this: Christian McCaffrey, Kyren Williams. So, didn't I just say he was your Christian McCaffrey?
We were looking at that. We were looking at the production. We're like, he missed 5 games, and he was up there in totals with Christian McCaffrey. If you look at the stats, there's only a few hundred yards of difference, and he missed 5 games because of Cam Akers was there. That's what we were saying. We're like, the young Rams they reloaded. They're coming back, and then we got hurt this year. So hopefully there's still time for us to get right the ship. But
that's the good news, right? Like, you got to look at the bright side of it. You know what I'm saying? And like, again, this game has not happened yet. We could get back together and it could go right in the favor of the Rams. I don't overlook any team on any given Sunday. Trent Williams just said today, in his presser, he in the locker room, listen, anything can happen on any given Sunday, bro. Every team gonna bring their A game. We gotta bring our A game. Like, basically, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but that's what I'm saying. Like, the Niners need to show the freak up. I don't know what happened in Minnesota. I don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah,
that's just, we used to have the Saints back in the day when we had the greatest show on turf. Saints,
I hated the Saints.
A hard time.
They gave us a hard time. We used to lose. All right, if you go back to the old NFC West, because we've been in it forever, right?
Yeah.
Go back to when it was 6 teams: Saints and freaking Falcons.
Yep.
Tell me they weren't thorns in our ass, and still to this day, even though they're in the NFC South, they still are a pain in the 49ers' butt because they were part of the West. I'm telling you.
I remember what's that quarterback they used to have? Aaron Brooks? And
yes,
he would beat us. He would single-handedly do a Kyler Murray, but he was better than Kyler Murray at certain games. He was more consistent. But yeah, it is crazy. But yeah. So okay, so let's do this. So who should we look at besides Purdy? Give me your official take on Brock Purdy. Are you sold with him moving forward with that big contract?
Definitely sold.
So are they going to do him? Do you think they're going to do him? What is when they put him on? Instead of giving the money, they give him a franchise tag. Are they going to do that to buy a year?
No, they won't tag. It wouldn't make sense because then they're going to be allotted to spend a lot of money that 1 year. Guaranteed on the quarterback, opposed to the Niners have a lot of contracts where they're going to have to find a way to alleviate some of the pressure of the cap in the next couple of years. So if anything, I'm thinking Purdy's going to get one of those 10-year Patrick Mahomes type deals where it doesn't affect the Niners, currently on the upcoming cap. So the 2025 cap, 2026. And if you look at what they do with their contracts, they kind of like backload it to where they pay these signing bonuses up front, and it doesn't affect the cap. So that's what I'm thinking Brock Purdy is going to get. I don't know what that number is. I really don't care what it is at this point because Brock needs to go out there in his final year and show that he's going to be worth the $500 million contract or whatever that number is going to be. But I'm sold. I've been sold on Brock Purdy once I realized that he had, ice water in his veins, bro. Like once I saw him come in, was I at this game? I can't remember if I was at the game. I felt like I was at the game. And we were against Miami, against the Dolphins. And I watched all the quarterbacks, Jimmy Garoppolo, we were starting at that point. Who's your quarterback at this point? I watched him get hurt, and Brock came in the game, and I was like, from what I saw in the preseason, I wasn't sold on Brock. I thought he needed more time. There's a reason why he was a 7th round pick and the last pick. Then he came in that game and was like, yo, the pressure didn't phase him, the blitzes didn't phase him. And then
what team was that though?
That was the Dolphins.
Oh, that's right. But that's when Tua crapped the bed, though, right? That's when Tua had open guys, and he crapped the bed in that game, right?
Because the Niners started ramping up the defense. That, if I'm not mistaken, that was a game. I can't remember which game it was. I felt like I was at that game, and I remember I missed the first play, and it was like a touchdown to Trent Sherfield, and I was like, "What the freak?" Like I'm trying to get to my seat. And then after that, it was all in. It was like all in. Like the Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt, and I hate to say it was the best thing that happened to the 49ers.
Yeah, because when I look at Brock Purdy, and I, people say system quarterback, whatever. I'm just saying he fits perfect with that offense. Yeah. And I explain it like this: it's not Brock Purdy's fault that he has Trent Williams watching his backside. It's not Brock Purdy's fault that he has all these weapons. It's not Brock Purdy's fault that they have a good run game, even though the right side before this year, we'll see with what's his name? Tooney? Is that
Pooney, yeah.
Pooney,
Dominic,
Pooney.
I call him Big Pun. Big Pun,
yeah. Big Pun is there now. So he's learning, he's getting together. It's not his fault he's out of those weapons. But my thing, Breezy, is when the Niners with Brock Purdy have all these stats and all these things, but they're perfect to beat the average schedule. But when they play like the Ravens, when they play like Kansas City, when they play certain teams that have a good pass rush, it's tougher now. Now the teams are more evenly matched. I haven't seen Brock Purdy separate himself like he did against that one game in the Dolphins. That's why I'm saying he reminds me of Jared Goff. Jared Goff hit a plateau in 2018 season. He was going to be MVP. He was in the talk to win MVP. And the reason why we lost that Super Bowl because he missed 2 late throws to Cooks against the Patriots, and we ended up only scoring 3 points without Kupp and with the banged up knee Gurley. But he was a young quarterback. So it can go both ways. I like that he rolls out. He's got balls to try to get the ball downfield, but what I want to see is he came back to his credit in those playoff games, but it could have been, the Lions lioned. The Campbell 4th and 3, I think it was, instead of kicking the field goal, getting 3 points, they went for it. You guys stopped them. And then the running back fumbled. And then Reynolds dropped the ball. He used to be a Rams receiver. And then Purdy throws a deep ball, bounces off the Lions Detroit Fender's helmet, and goes right to Ayuk's hands at the goal line. So,
amen.
I want to see that he's the difference because that game was there for the taking. It wasn't his fault. Christian McCaffrey fumbled the ball, but that Jimmy Garoppolo in his Super Bowl in 2019 scored 20 points in regulation. Brock Purdy scored 19 because the guy missed the extra point. 20 points would have been enough to win that Super Bowl. So even though on the outside it looks like he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo, and he has been, the stats are similar. They're identical when CMC played. If you look at him, so I'm not quite sold on Brock Purdy. I want to see him do that against really good teams.
I tell you right now, you better be sold on him this week because the one team he ain't lost to is your team. So I can tell you that right now.
Well, this ain't our this is our JV team.
It don't matter. Like it is who the team that's in front of you. You came at Brock Purdy and you said you don't think he's good against good defenses, and I
haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
But here's my pushback. That's not on Brock. So like if let's look at these defensive coordinators, Mike McDonald, Steve Spags. You mentioned the Ravens. He's the head coach of the Seahawks now, and then Steve Spags is the defensive coordinator. Those guys own Kyle Shanahan.
They're
so
like
Kyle Shanahan on the other hand, loses to those defensive coordinators because he doesn't have his team prepared against what those defensive coordinators are going to present. So, yeah, you might not see the best of Brock Purdy, but if Kyle just let Brock be Brock, it's a whole different ballgame. At some point, it's defensive scheme or the offensive scheme. And if that defensive scheme is just trumping whatever, it's not like Brock Purdy played bad in the Super Bowl. It's just that he didn't do anything to wow anybody to win the Super Bowl. He did get his team into position to win the game. Unfortunately, the defense, which is another conversation, gave up big plays. So at the end of the day, it ain't all about the quarterback going out there. Well, I think that football is over, man. Like teams are stacked defensively. Certain coordinators are gonna blitz like crazy, like Steve Spags. Certain coordinator, like it just depends. So every game's gonna be different. Every game you're gonna get a different quarterback, and so different version of the quarterback. Excuse me. So as long as Brock continues to take strides into improving his game out there, improving his football IQ. I'm more concerned about him, continuing to make the right play opposed to taking a risk at certain points in games. Because I'm watching Brock try to fit. But I watched Brock throw a ball into a window of 4 defensive backs. What? Like, right? Yeah. But damn, like if he was a half a second quicker, it possibly would have been a catch. So listen, I'm sold on Brock. A lot of people aren't, and I'm not disagreeing with you. If you're not sold on him, you're just not sold on him. But I've been sold on Brock. He can do things. He has something called the it factor, and the only reason why you're not seeing what you need to see from Brock isn't because of Brock. It isn't because of his limitations. It's because he's being training wheeled down. That's how I look at it.
Well, I'm just saying, because you watch him more than I do. But I'm just saying, Jimmy Garoppolo showed.
Jimmy Garoppolo is ass.
But that's what I'm saying. Okay, see how you're saying that, but he got to the same exact point as Brock.
He got to the same exact point because of the things that enabled him to get to that point. Jimmy Garoppolo didn't win the 49ers many games. He didn't even win the game against the New Orleans Saints. Y'all can miss me with that shit. George Kittle, he threw an underneath screen behind the line of scrimmage to George Kittle. It was a bad throw at that. George Kittle makes the catch and forces people to miss, makes people miss, and then carries more people with them to get the first down, to get the ball, then gets a penalty drawn on him, and then Robbie Gould kicks the game-winning field goal. So y'all can miss me with that too. Was he in a shootout in that game? Yes. Did he do anything to win that game? Hell no. Jimmy Garoppolo, after his injuries, became trash. Yeah, and unfortunately, he's your quarterback. I want y'all to play Jimmy Garoppolo on Sunday, please.
Well, this is what I was saying. I hope that the Rams we're playing pretty good. It's a close game. Stafford, without getting hurt, gets kicked out of the game. Maybe he grabs somebody's helmet, he does something messed up, and they kick him out of the game. And then here comes Jimmy Garoppolo to get the game-winning drive against the Niners. That would be beautiful in SoFi Stadium. I don't see that.
I hope that happens, because if that happens, my channel is going to blow up. I can tell you that right now.
But I appreciate it. But that's all I'm saying. All I can tell you is what I see, and I know that he's played way better. I mean, 7th round pick, and that's already passed because he's overplayed that. He's just about to get paid. But I did notice in some of those games when he plays good teams, the Browns, the Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, he hasn't shown that he's the difference maker. The regular season doesn't matter because you can insert anybody in there almost, and they're going to win games. You guys are going to make the playoffs. He does make some good plays. He's young. It can go either direction. As soon as if you guys start losing some of your guys, Debo's not there because he paid Ayuk. Trent Williams retires. But that's in the future. We'll see, though. We will see, because like I said, we were sold on Jared Goff too, and we end up, as soon as Matthew Stafford became available, it was the best move that we made. So we will see, man. Brock Purdy is doing what he needs to do, but anyway, I appreciate you, man, and but thank you for coming in and give me the score. Give me your score if you have one for tomorrow. Are you going to the game?
No, I won't be at the game. But my score prediction is kind of lopsided. You know, I and here's the crazy thing. I feel like the Rams score first and then the Niners settle down. So I got 34-13 49ers.
34. Woo!
Yeah.
Okay. I say this: if the Rams score first and the defense is playing good and they're getting after Purdy, I can see it go where the Niners win a close one, or the Rams win by 7 to 10 points with Jared Verse getting sacks. Kobe Turner breaking out this season. He hasn't really shown what he did last year without Aaron Donald, and maybe a couple of picks in the secondary. Durant or maybe Witherspoon, your guy.
Not
But,
my guy. I never he just defense.
That's what I'm saying, because with you guys, he wasn't
But
the
the
same
funny
player
thing
that
last year, he was a top corner for you guys.
Yeah, and he's a lot better than he was.
And in the league, though, in the NFL, like he was up there, I guess in PBUs or something. Like he was good.
Oh
like,
yeah. He makes a good place, but he's a different player now. He's a veteran. You know, he's learned some stuff. He's better than he was when he was with you guys early on. But we'll see, man. I appreciate you coming in, my brother, and much love. And I just wish both teams were healthy, man. I'd be so much more excited for this game. I will be at the game on
awesome.
Sunday. So, but God bless you, my brother. I appreciate you. Much love, and I appreciate you coming in, man. And I'm sorry we went a little. I just looked at the time. We're over by 11 minutes, 12 minutes. So, but God bless you for coming in, man. Much love, and appreciate you.
Yes, sir. We'll chat it up. Peace.
All right, brother. Appreciate it. There's the great Wayne Breezie. Appreciate you guys watching our stream. And I like Brock Purdy, and I told you guys before that he's doing exactly what he should do with that team, the perfect quarterback for that situation. But I haven't seen him separate himself against really good teams. But then again, I don't watch him all the time. I just watch the highlights of certain games. So, but that's okay. We'll see, because there's his long season. It's a contract year, and but he's doing all he can do. He's putting those W's on the board. So I appreciate all you guys that came in today. Much love and respect to everyone that support my channel. Props to Wayne Breezie for coming in. He went a little bit longer. I didn't mean to do that. And what's up, baby? Okay. But all right, guys, I appreciate you guys. Much love. We'll see you guys on a live alert soon. I'm going to set it up, and as we always say, may the Remelia be with you. And Remulators, mount up. Take care, everybody.